guess the intro slide anyway. So, as mentioned, my name is Ben Campbell. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Overworld. And Overworld is attempting to be the world's first drag-and-drop solution for augmented reality content creation and publishing. So, there's a bit to unpack in that probably. So, who here is familiar with augmented reality? Just a quick show of hands. Awesome. I love seeing that. We're getting more and more hands in the air every month, it seems. So for those of you that might not be aware of maybe the designation or the difference between AR and VR, the way that we like to talk about it is that virtual reality is a fully digital environment that you can enter, whereas augmented reality blends both the digital and the physical worlds. Right now we do that primarily through the forward-facing camera on a mobile device, but it's going more and more in the direction of head-mounted displays and some really exciting technology in that regard. So we like to think of augmented reality as well as a transformative technology. So much as the personal computer, internet, and mobile disrupted the way that we live, work, and play, we think that spatial computing is going to be the same. And that's kind of the world that augmented reality plays in. As a quick way to get everybody up to speed on sort of what this technology is, how we're using it, I've got a bit of a demo video.
Yeah, I don't know how to, I didn't know how to make that work. Yeah, I would just keep going and we'll try to load it later.
Yeah, we can skip that anyway. So right now we're primarily using this in the sports vertical. We think that it's an interesting space where it has a lot that it can do with fan engagement, but that's not exactly how we got our start. So it started out as a school project while I was attending OU in pursuit of an MBA. I met one of my co-founders there, and we took it through a couple classes and refined the idea, started validating the market, and then we took it through the Sooner Launchpad's Student Business Accelerator as well. And while we were there, we further refined the idea and began building a prototype. And last December, we launched a beta application that we hosted a pop-up museum for a month at Science Museum Oklahoma called Museum of Augmented Reality. It had 19 pieces of art, artifacts, and all that some sort of augmented reality component added to them. So while we were there, we surveyed a bunch of people and got some really great statistics that we now get to share. So one of them was the Net Promoter Score, which is a question that you may be familiar with as a consumer, getting asked, how likely would you recommend this to a friend? And that basically gives you an indicator of virality between -100 and +100. Good little benchmark is that for software firms, those average out at about a +34, so us obtaining a +60 was really encouraging. We got great press while we were there, which kind of speaks for itself, but another really exciting thing was we clocked people going through the exhibit, and we compared that to a study that was done at the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art, where they observed how long people engaged with 6 different masterpieces that were there, including famous works such as Washington crossing the Delaware. And our attention span is shrinking. I think we all know that as a society, but there people were only engaged for about 36 seconds was the median, and we were able to get people to engage with our content for over a minute, which was a really great indicator. But while we were there, we noticed an even larger problem than what we set out to solve. So augmented reality represents a great way that brands can start to engage people, but right now it's just entirely too difficult for them to take on themselves. You're going to hire out a software firm, or you're going to have a nightmare. So as we went to develop our beta application, we ended up using 22 different pieces of software, which has its annoyances, just by using that many pieces of software, but additionally, we would run into major issues where one of them would update and the other wouldn't, and just funky stuff would happen, like a 3D model of a human didn't have eyelashes anymore, and there was nothing we could do about it. So since then, we have set out to create our own platform that makes this content creation process simpler. So here's a quick look at what we're envisioning. So we're working to develop this platform. We're going to be able to drag 3D models into an environment, animate them within that, and then publish it to either our application or your own application through an API. So as I mentioned, we're going after sports because of that fan loyalty and engagement. It's something that's a major issue for all sports teams. They are tracking that. They're trying to improve their fan engagement in everything that they do. A little bit about our team. I'm Ben, so my background is primarily in the entertainment industry with experience in music, film, 2D and 3D design, and game design. One of my co-founders who I mentioned I met during the OU MBA program is Michael Thomas. He's a sports entrepreneur and a recently retired professional soccer player, most recently captaining the Oklahoma City Energy for 4 years. And then we also have teamed up with Ross Forsythe, who we met when we were doing museum content. His dad was the one who started the National Weather Museum here in Norman, and we actually went through and did the National Weather Museum with him and enjoyed working with him and brought him on full-time as our CTO just recently. So a quick look at where we are today. We have a live iOS and Android application. We are building our proprietary platform, and we're currently attempting to supplement our income and gather use cases by offering AR content creation as a service. Where we're going in the near future is to a feed of location-based content, so that as you're walking around, you can get notifications and realize that hey, there's more to these items around me. There's additional content that I can see about this place, or things of that nature. We're also opening up the opportunity to have user-generated content so that people can publish their own content through our platform. And another major issue that we're encountering with our beta application was anytime that we wanted to make a slight change in a piece of content, we would have to resubmit that to the App Store. We may or may not get declined. It may take weeks. It was a very frustrating situation, but in our new technology stack, we'll be able to make changes to the application via website, and then it'll automatically update in the application as well. So with that, I'd like to open up any questions.
All right, other questions for Ben? If not, I'll ask one that's kind of standard one. What can we do within the Norman community to best assist you and your company?
Oh goodness. I mean, right now, feedback is really important. Introductions to anybody that you think might be interested in this type of technology. And then, again, we are actively fundraising right now, so any connections that might be able to be made there, greatly appreciated.
Are there other questions for Ben? Mike?
What's your revenue model? What's your business model that you're foreseeing the next year, maybe 5 years?
Yeah, of course. So what we're moving to is software as a service, so subscription-based to use the tools that we'll have. We're also going to offer some services like content creation and consulting while we help the market sort of grow into how this technology gets used. And then we think that there's definitely potential to monetize some of that data, both through analytics packages for your own information and then through aggregating market insights.
Other questions?
You're able to load your.
Oh, hey, here's the video. This is some fun little stuff that we put together as demos for sports. Different things on tickets, as you've seen here. And then here we have a little soccer player who's dribbling a ball, and that's actually the official match ball that they use for the FIFA World Cup this year. And so if you click on the ball, it'll take you to FIFA's website where you can purchase one as well. So it's another potential strategy for monetization through affiliate links.
Do you see any application for this in the medical industry?
Yeah, there's a huge application in the medical industry, for sure. So there's a lot of really smart people that are working on that, and it's something that is just a market that I didn't have any experience in, and therefore chose not to throw my hat in the ring.
So do you think there's an opportunity in the near future or sometime down the road for this to be applicable to real-time information, real-time updating information, maybe like medical? We work in the weather industry, so with weather information, something that's updating constantly.
Yeah, definitely. So that's one of the reasons that we're moving our technology stack and going with the platform approach is that with that being web-based content, getting referenced in the mobile application, we'll be able to really reference any sort of database so that you could display real-time information. Within the sports market, obviously, updating scores or just player stats, things like that are going to be one of the near future things that we look to solve.
You mentioned in the meantime, as you guys are scaling up, going up to the sports market, you're also available for higher kind of service level. What would a good lead for that type of business look like for you guys?
Really, we're all over the place right now. Well, some of the stuff that we've offered is just releasing content through our existing mobile application for an event or something. We can white label to create an entirely new augmented reality app for you. But we're also scaling things back to even as simple as doing Snapchat lenses and filters, just things that people can start to get their feet wet with augmented reality. But yeah, any industry, that's one of the reasons too that we're pivoting towards this platform is that so many people have fantastic ideas of what they can do with this technology, and we've barely scratched the surface on what's possible, and it's just really encouraging to meet with people that have ideas on how they can apply it to their own industry and see how we can collaborate with them. So yeah, we're open to all kinds of opportunities right now.
As a technology platform, what services are you using?
So we use Mailgun for email signups and subscriptions. We use Amazon Web Services for our hosting. Is this sort of in the line that you're?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you're in Azure, so scaling a technology platform is very costly and transparent to different platforms. So if you're Azure platform or
yes, of course. So yeah, we're hosting through Amazon Web Services. Yeah.
Other questions, comments? You mentioned fundraising. What's your goal for fundraising? What is that used for, etc.?
Yeah, we have a couple different things. So right now, we actually just were able to announce yesterday we got accepted in the Thunder Launchpad, which we were just last one through. So excited to hear from them on their experience too a little bit more. But so right now we're kind of looking to accelerate our growth during this next 10 weeks. So small angel round, on a rolling basis is what we're working on, and then we hope to scale up to a full seed round immediately after that, where we'll really be looking to hire up a lot more, probably with a target of getting to 8 to 10 employees.
Since we're connected to OU, obviously, here in Roman, what would you recommend just anybody and students also start to learn to be able to kind of go into this world?
Yeah, that's an incredible opportunity that actually OU is doing a fantastic job of. So they have a program called The Edge that is both in the library and over at the Innovation Hub, and through that they're doing all kinds of virtual reality stuff primarily. They have, I believe they have, actually I don't think they do, I take it back. So they don't have any of the augmented reality headsets yet, but at least to my knowledge, but they're doing some fantastic stuff. That's where we learned a lot about 3D scanning. We borrowed items that they had, and they're doing fantastically with it. But it's a
software you recommend?
yeah. So most everything is based in Unity, which is what our stack was before. So we're shifting away from it, just from some of the limitations that we ran into. But it is a great development environment, and something that there's just tons of videos on. It's easy to learn it yourself if you have the time and want to just dig into it. And then also OU does have a student organization that's the VR Club, and I believe it's open to anybody, but it's they get together and talk about coding and work on Unity projects together as well.
Question back here.
Hey, Ben. What percent of your day-to-day focus would you say is on building the platform and marketing the platform versus kind of the application of sports and marketing it to the sports industry?
Yeah, so it's still pretty early in the platform. That's what Ross spends all of his time on, and it's probably what I spend about 20% most of the time. Sometimes, it's the full day of everything that I do. But right now, it's not that we're fully in stealth mode, but we're not really pushing marketing too hard yet until we do have that platform or at least I think we are about to redo our website for a little bit of a paid platform coming soon, and get early signups for that.
You mentioned wanting to have 8 or 10 employees. What would those employees do and how would they assist the company moving forward?
Right now we need all development staff. So really I'd like to get an Android developer, an iOS developer, a web developer, an animator, and then probably a hardware tester for quality assurance on different devices. But yeah, it's a lot of technical jobs, and that is one of the really interesting things that I think about this new wave of both augmented reality and virtual reality. It's so much of different creative disciplines that honestly, there's not a lot of ways that you can learn those things through traditional education. And so a lot of what we'd be hiring for is, can you do this job? I don't care what your background is, where you went to school for it, if you went to school for it. It's a really like skills-based market.
Time for a couple more questions.
There's several other people out there, especially in the sports world, doing augmented reality. You approach those individuals as potential partners instead of viewing them as competitors?
We have not. At this point, we've been mostly focused on our local market, which doesn't have anybody in that wheelhouse. But yeah, I think as a whole, though, virtual reality and augmented reality both are very collaborative in nature right now. I actually did just speak to somebody from another platform, and we just basically spent 20 minutes complaining about the same things, essentially. But it was really nice to see somebody else who had actually been working on this project for 10 years already, running into the same issues and coming up with similar solutions that we have been. But yeah, it's a very collaborative space and something that we probably will explore.
Yeah, I would really highly recommend kind of like reaching out and seeing who's in that space and seeking for partnerships. Because there is a lot of people that can help you along this way.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Time for one more question. Who wants to ask that last question?
No pressure.
No pressure. Yeah, I'll let you make it be me, right? Okay, we have one back here.
What keeps you up at night?
Crippling doubt and fear. Yeah, I mean, obviously, as an entrepreneur entering a very new space, there's not a lot of support. Actually, I say that it's a two-sided sword. On one hand, it feels like hey, there's nobody else that works in this kind of stuff. They don't understand it. I go into meetings first having to explain that this technology exists, and then explain why you should care about it, which is difficult. But on the other side of that, it really is amazing. Oklahoma is such a supportive place. We're able to get in contact with almost anybody that we've ever cared to think that we should talk to, and just really appreciate that. So yeah, as much as I do say that it's the doubt and fear, I really think that we have something special going on in this time in particular. I'm just glad to be part of it.
Join me in saying thank you, Ben.